the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello and welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Turn 3 Racing Network. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. We're going to kick off season number 5 for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Got my good buddy Dan the Postman in the booth with me. This is Dave Worrell, as always, up here. KR, not here anymore, down there on track. We'll catch up with him here shortly. And big announcements for OP Racing Super Speedway Series, Dan. The Hall of Fame was voted on and announced, and we're going to reveal that here in just a little while.
Yeah, very good. Heard a couple guys well-deserving made it in this evening, and we're excited to see who those guys are, and congratulations to those boys.
Absolutely. Some familiar names in that in the voting, and the inductees, the first 3, are very well known as well. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. Going to bring up a big member of the series to do the big reveal, if you will. Then we've got about close to 16 minutes or so left here in happy hour in the speed charts. Very, very close. Your top 2 runners right now, only 0.02 of a second separating them. So it's plate racing.
Absolutely, plate racing at its finest. The temperatures are relatively low. Track temperature is a little high today, so we could see some very good informationals crashing here today. Several rookies in the field as well. Watching Rick Seabrans there, was kind of getting loose on entry a little bit. So we'll see how the track temps and weather fares into this today.
Yeah, as you mentioned, weather out there only 78 degrees, just a 2-mile-an-hour wind, so not enough, in my opinion, to really shake things up, whether it's a headwind or a tailwind out there for these drivers. They're going to be moving upwards of 200 miles an hour anyway, so I don't believe that little bit of wind is going to affect how the drivers are out there. But tires, what do you think about tires here, Dan? You haven't been around for a lot of the tire strategy game here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. What are you expecting here out of these drivers and their strategy? What are you guessing is going to happen?
You know, coming from the dirt world where tires don't really have a whole lot of effect of how hard you send the car into the corner, I think these guys are going to be pitting early just to kind of get some position through the beginning of the early stages here, so they can put themselves in good positions for a late run. But I think the higher track temps are going to cause a little bit of issue for these guys later on in the race if they don't get their tires early.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to see some crazy strategy. I can guarantee you that, Dan. You are in for a treat, that is for sure. I know you weren't around very much last year, but you're in for a treat, I promise you that. And let's see if we can get in a word now. Gonna try to dial him up. Let's see if we can get a word with my good buddy Batman himself. Mark, man, it's Dave and Dan in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, brothers?
Hello, man, hanging loose.
That's pretty awesome. That's what you need to do first race of the season, man.
That's absolutely right. So speaking of first race of the season, what's your plan there at Alliance Motorsports, or do you not want to let the cat out of the bag here on the air? Are y'all going to pull that short strategy on the fuel again, or are you guys going to play the long game here?
Oh, you know what? That cat I'm going to keep in the bag. I'll let a little bit out, and that's pretty much just my plan is to survive. So first few races of the season with a new group of drivers, it's you kind of feel like you kind of go in survival mode till everybody feels each other out, and then I guess maybe then we'll be able to play with the fuel strategy. But I think right now it's survive, definitely.
All right, well, keeping that cat in the bag, but you got to let the other one out. I alluded to the fact that this year's special season, first ever Hall of Fame vote for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series drivers, and we've got 3 inductees. And you want to go ahead and let everybody know who that was?
Yes, absolutely. This is the 5th season of OP Super Speedway Series, and it's been an awesome community and great environment with a lot of long-term veterans. So we put together a committee of members from every team, a Hall of Fame committee, so to speak, to nominate 7 drivers into the Hall of Fame, into the Hall of Fame nomination process. And then we put up a Survey Monkey that lasted a week on the OP page, so drivers, family, friends, fans could pick for their favorite driver and one that had the accolades to make it into the Hall of Fame to be inducted, which will be in just a few moments. But I wouldn't mind announcing the 7 drivers that were in the nomination, and I'll just keep on rolling with it. The 84 Aspen Belvin, of course, season 1 champion, the inaugural champion. The number 8 Cody Ober, the number 28 Derek Conley, the number 26 Hunter Reynolds, the 7 car Josh Milam, the 4 car Rick Seabrands, and the 10 of Robert Duvendak. Those were our 7 nominations. And so I will just get right into it. And after that week-long vote, 3 drivers are being inducted, and we'll start with the first driver, who's a 3-time and defending Saturday OP Throwback Series champion. He's a Monday Premier Series champion and the winningest driver in OP history. And of course, that's Alliance Motorsports' very own, the number 4 Rick Seabrands. I mean, that had to happen. I mean, Rick's been a veteran driver, great driver, respected driver in this league, and congratulations to him. That's well deserved.
Absolutely.
And, yes, sir. And the second driver to be inducted is he's a 2-time reigning defending champion this season. He is one of the great young gun drivers out here in the field, and this one makes a ton of sense. That's Fuel Sim Racing FSR's very own Hunter Reynolds, the number 26 car. Congratulations to him. And last but not least, this guy has won 2. He's the 2-time reigning defending OP Super Speedway Wednesday Night Series Icebreaker champion, and he's the 2nd most winningest driver in OP Super Speedway history, doing it in a very short period of time, by the way. And that's Alliance Motorsports' very own again, the number 10 Robert Duvendak. Congratulations to him. That's a great class for season 5. And if I could just say a quick thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, and like to thank all the OP owners, Turn 3 Racing. Congratulations again to the inductees, and a special thank you to Cody Eldridge, who's doing race control again this season. That was pretty short and sweet.
Yeah,
a little bit
right to the point.
Right to the point, but we just felt like it'd be something special to do in this league, since this is a long-term league with a lot of long-term drivers, and there's a lot of guys that put their heart and soul into this, and we just wanted to honor them with this Hall of Fame induction, and and hopefully a lot of guys can learn from those veteran drivers, and maybe them guys will be inducted next season.
Yeah, I see it week in and week out watching you guys out there on track. There's no give up in any of the drivers out there, so I'm sure any of the nominees are going to try to be the inductees next year. And Mark, man, I do appreciate you coming up here in the booth, giving us a little bit of your time here as happy hour's closing in on about 10 minutes left to go. We won't keep you much longer. You want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love you, special thanks, anything like that before you head back onto the car?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody at Turn 3 Racing Network, man. You and Dan are going to bring it this season. We got KR down there on the track with us. This is going to be interesting but awesome. And my teammates at Alliance Motorsports, I think them the best team in the league, in my opinion. And all the owners at OP, Cody Eldred, fans, friends, family, everybody watching at home. And the Hall of Famers. I mean, you couldn't ask for 3 better drivers in this league, and as people and as teammates and drivers. So I'm really happy about it. We're looking forward to this season. It's going to be a long one, so hang in there with us, folks.
All right, man. Well, good luck. Elbows up.
Thanks, brother.
Well, Dan, there you had it right there. The 3 drivers inducted to the Hall of Fame: Robert Duvendak, Rick Seabrands, Hunter Reynolds, all very deserving drivers, and someone that can attest to that. We brought our good buddy, the Outlaw, back up here in the booth. You're not getting away from the production booth so fast, my man. I know you're down there on track, but what's your thoughts on those 3 first inductees?
Well, first of all, Dave, Dan, I got to tell you guys, I look forward to watching this broadcast after I'm done with this race here tonight, probably about lap 1. But, man, what an outstanding Hall of Fame inaugural class. Rick Seabrans, we've called him the Richard Petty of OP Racing. He has more wins than anyone else. This man knows how to get around a super speedway. Then you throw in Robert Duvendak. I challenged him many seasons ago to try and make it into Monday night, as he had some comments about the racing, and man, he did not disappoint. He got out here, made it to the Monday Night League, and has never looked back.
Well, man, Dan, you got anything for KR before we let him go and restrap into the car and get ready for qualifying here tonight?
KR, I'd like to see you have a little more confidence, man. I've got a lot of confidence in you, but how's the car feeling already? How's the track conditions affecting your ride right now?
Well, I'd say the car's great. It's handling just fine. The confidence thing, I'm not feeling too confident, mostly because I'm out here as a rookie with these guys, and I got to tell you, as much as I've been around iRacing, this league is some of the best super speedway drivers you will find. And to, first of all, be able to be out here and mix it up with them is a huge honor. Second of all, I got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of seat time I got to get caught up on. And I can't complain about the car. The setup feels great. Everything feels great. It's just learning my limits, learning where everything needs to go and how it goes. And just going to try and ride around for a little bit. I'll be running with the Misfits here tonight. Driver Sean McCarrick. And also some other rookies, Jeff Wyatt and Andrew Schroeder. So I look forward to running with the Misfits here tonight.
Great, man. That sounds awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and ride around, get your seat time in there, stay nice and relaxed, make sure you hydrate inside that race car, and we'll see you out there on the track. Good luck to your teammates as well, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. And speaking of hydrating, normally I do one of these for Mark Mann, but I'm going to do it for myself tonight right here. Here we go. Yeah, I'm hydrated.
All right.
There you have it. A few words from I don't want to say former colleague, but I guess former announcer. I don't know. What would you call that?
I would say that's colleague in action.
I like that one. We're gonna go with that one.
in race reporter.
He may be reporting after a little while. You never quite know with KR. It's either well, it's a show either way. We'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely. You know, he works hard, and I know that these cars are not very easy to drive, especially on these super speedways. And when you don't have a lot of seat time, I can see why he's not that confident, because they are difficult. You know, iRacing is the closest thing to the real thing, and I'll tell you what, being in the seat of a sprint car and coming from the dirt world, it's not easy driving. And especially when you don't have the confidence to back that up, and you got a lot of heavy hitters in this field, especially, you know, now 3 Hall of Famers. So we'll see how this plays out. How much time we got left in happy hour here, Dave-O?
We got about 4 minutes, more close to the 5-minute mark, but looks like most of the drivers have already shaken down their cars. Not looking like we're going to have a big dash out there to see what the cars will do. Most of the drivers have already put in some of their pack practice, so to speak. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. We'll be right back with all of your qualifying action live here on Turn 3 Racing Network for OP Racing Super Speedway Series Season 5. It's the opener at Talladega. And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, here to Turn 3 Racing Network, Talladega Super Speedway. Opening race here in season number 5, and a lot of drivers out there on track already. Let's see if we can jump out there with David Overstreet as he's on his up to speed laps. There you can see at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across the bottom for you. That is your qualifying times. Has a few of the drivers listed on their out laps already. Rob Connors, Ben Mashburn, Alex Green, Josh Milam, Randall Cobb, all out there on track. Dan, you got your eye on anybody in particular?
I'm keeping my eye on this David Overstreet here. He was pretty solid in practice, and I think he's going to turn an easily top 10, maybe top 5 lap here. He was pretty quick. He looked pretty solid.
And
Who you got your eye on?
I was watching David Overstreet here. I think I'm going to jump up to, let's go with Logan Helton, the kid. There you see him just in front, pacing, basically. These drivers trying to go out there, and I think what this strategy is right here, Dan, I think these drivers just kind of getting the oil temperature up and then hammering down and trying to get the best lap time that way. So with all the drivers doing that, let's look at Anthony English now up there hugging that outside wall. No driver yet to put in a timed lap yet, early here in qualifying.
Got tire temperature as well. We got to get them tires warmed up so we can hug the inside of that corner, being the preferred line. Getting those tires temps is going to be pretty important for these guys to set some flyers here.
And just like that, Carline goes to the top of the speed charts now on his second time lap down there, hugging that yellow line. That's something that we're going to see a lot of these drivers do on that second time lap. Try to keep the track as short as possible while keeping the speed as high as they can.
Absolutely. Ernie Williams goes to the top spot with a 51.386. Pretty nice lap for him.
Derek Connolly now the 28. Down there hugging that yellow line again, Dan. I mean, it's right there. The left side tires right on the edge of that yellow line. Nobody touching the apron here on the front stretch, trying to cut the track that way. Now going right next to the grass is Connolly. Going to cross the line. Where is he going to shake out? Not going to the top of the speed charts. Only good enough for second, right there behind the 7 of Josh Milam.
Yeah, good lap for Derek there. Great lap. He had some good lines. Car looked solid. Good for him.
Looks like we've got a few other drivers out there on some very slow laps. Jimmy Reynolds, Hunter Reynolds, Sean Stevens, Robert Duvendak, Rick Greenway, Donald Stewart, Sean McCarrick, Mark Mann, all out on track, but not necessarily up to speed.
Jimmy Crow, rookie, taking the top spot with a 50.8.
You can say rookie, but anyone knows Crow is not a rookie, especially when it comes to super speedway racing. He's actually one of the, I guess, driver coach mentors kind of to Logan Helton, the kid. And the kid was a rookie last year that set the series on fire, making it all the way to the championship race, but just coming up a little bit short. Now looks like Jimmy Reynolds now up to speed, completely gonna cross the line this time by and then drop down to that double yellow line here. We'll see how he shakes out on his second time lap. Robert Duvendak also out on track. Mark Mann, Les Levy, Rick Greenway, Donald Stewart on track as well.
I'm loving the paint scheme Jimmy Reynolds is running for this season. That's a sharp looking car. A little hard to make out the numbers, but that's nice. I like that. Sleek and fast, baby. Sleek and fast.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of paint schemes that you like out there. I can guarantee it. Wait till you get a look at Turn 3 Racing's very own. I mean, he's in the replacements. He's in the misfits tonight. Our very own K.R. Stolfus, when he hits the track, buddy, wait till you see the paint scheme on that machine. It is absolutely amazing. Great job out there by those guys getting that wrap on. And Crow still holding on to that top spot. And just like that, Logan Helton, the kid, following his mentor to the top of the speed charts, gonna be sitting in that second position. That is well, that is pretty amazing.
Absolutely, very good lap.
And I tell you what, looks like the 3 of KR Stolfus. There you see him, the Outlaw, on track for the first time here this season with the OP Racing Super Speedway Series Turn 3. Well, I hope that car looks as pretty at the end of it, but we all know KR, it might not.
That is a very nice looking car there. Shout out to his artist, and boy, whew, that's sharp. That's sharp, Dave. I really like that. Nice integration of the Turn 3 logo there.
Oh yeah, he did a wonderful job on that, guys. Did a great job putting it on the car. So gonna be interesting to see how he fares out there. But nonetheless, Jimmy Crow still sitting on top of the speed charts. Nobody able to take that top spot away from him. Jimmy Reynolds only good enough for 9th. KR Stolfus not having a good qualifying, only going to slide in the 28th position. Looks like we've got only 2 drivers yet to turn in their time lap. We've got 34 drivers on the speed charts right now, so it's going to be an action-packed race. That is absolutely sure here tonight with about 3 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Do want to keep in mind and remind you down there, right-hand side of your screen, there you see it. Round 2, 3, and 4 coming up here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Always 8:55 Eastern Time. Come check out these guys throw down on the plate tracks. We head to Daytona, then the old school legacy Daytona, the 07 track, the very bumpy Daytona. Then we head back here to Talladega once again. And Dan, we're going to get some frequent flyer miles this season, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. I have been to Talladega myself. I've never been to Daytona. It's on the bucket list, but there is just something about these super speedway restrictor plate races that makes you go, holy cow. You have not lived until you've been to Talladega, I'm telling you.
Oh, that is for sure. It's the infield, Talladega Boulevard. Psh, get out of here.
Absolutely.
Well, with all that being said, and only about 2 minutes remaining here in qualifying, doesn't look like anybody's gonna top Jimmy Crow. It looks like he's gonna walk away with that pole position here tonight for the opener at Talladega for the OP Racing Super Speedway drivers. So with all that being said, we're gonna head off, take a brief commercial break, grab ourselves a drink, then head on down trackside for the national anthem. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the barren
live trackside. Drivers already hitting your starting grid for tonight's opener at Talladega. Your starting grid looks a little something like this. Pole position lining up inside row number 1, the 16 of Jimmy Crow. Just to his outside, the 63 of Logan Hilton. Row number 2, the 8 of Cody Ober, in the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. Row number 3, the 24 of Will Weber, and the 7 of Josh Milam. Row number 4, Derek Conley and Anthony English. Row number 5, the 17 of Jimmy Reynolds, and the 04 of Mark Mann.
Row number 6 will consist of Les Levy. On his outside, Mr. Dave Hunt. Row number 7, Rodney Cobb. To his outside, Donald Stewart. Hall of Fame member Rick Seabrans inside of row number 8. To his outside, Aspen Belvin. Row number 9, Randall Cobb. His outside is James Meyer. Row number 10, Daniel Holloway on the inside. To his outside, Robert Duvendak.
Starting in the 21st position, Dustin Barber. And in 22nd, Rob Connors. 23rd, Sean Stevens. And in 24th, the 77 of David Booth. 25th starting spot here, the 02 of David Overstreet, and the 47 of Anthony Schroeder will be 26th. 27th, Jeff Wyatt. Eric Carline going to slot in the 28th starting position. 29th, Alex Green. Sean McCarrick in the 30th.
Row 16, Travis Elliott to the inside. Our very own KR Stolfus to the outside of him. Ernie Williams brings up the inside of row number 17. On his outside, Ben Mashburn. Rick Greenway brings up the inside of row 18 with Chase Berry to his outside. Damie Jessup brings up the inside of row 19. And that will be our starting lineup for Talladega.
Getting through all the official business. Pace car lights are off. Pace truck, hey, they listened to our plea, KR. They got us the truck out there instead of that ugly Mustang. But you don't get to see it. I do. Pace truck down and away, waiting for the green flag for the first time here in season number 5. Drivers long way to that restart box. Dan, we're ready to go back. Green flag racing, and, well, 3, 2, 1, on the gas they go. Great jump on the outside by Logan Hilton. Gets a great start on the initial start of the race. Has a little bit of time over that inside lane. Now dropping down in front of Jimmy Crow is Hilton. So those two drivers very familiar with each other, hooking up very early as the drivers make their way off of turn 2 for the first time here tonight.
Coming down the backstretch, we've got a small push from the inside line here. The outside line's keeping right up pace with them, heading off into turn 3 here. Let's see how this one shakes out going into turn number 4 and coming to the start-finish line.
All the drivers look like they're fairly sorted out. Don't see a lot of jockeying for position, so it looks like drivers just trying to maybe get a little bit familiar with how some of these drivers are gonna do after taking a brief month or so off. All these drivers taking a little bit of a break, and a few new faces for the drivers out there to be drafting with, as well as your top 7 slowly starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field. But Dan, it is very, very early here tonight as we are only on lap number 2 here. We have got a long way to go tonight. Heck, a long way to go just to get to the end of stage number 1 at the completion of lap 20.
Yeah, I'm sure they're shaking the nerves off here a little bit. You know, I know the drop of the green flag brings a lot of attention to these drivers, but they'll soon settle in and get in their grooves and find out where they need to be. And I'm sure the end of this stage will bring some welcome pit stops as well and make some in-car adjustments, get some fresh tires, and hit that fuel window.
And on that inside line, looks like Jimmy Crow's having a little bit of issues, maybe trying to keep that car cool, stepping out to the right side just behind Logan Hilton there. Periodically, he's got Cody Ober in that 8 just behind him on his outside. Derek Connolly out there as well. So, I mean, these drivers are looking for every advantage that they can very early here already, as we've got 2 drivers kind of separating themselves back in the rear of the field. Seeing them just out of the corner of my eye. That is Ernie Williams and Chase Berry. Those 2 drivers, let's take a look at them. Wow, I believe actually there's driver. Oh, it looks like a little bit of an issue. Drivers hitting pit road already, very early.
Very, very early. That's very surprising, Dave. I'm surprised they're coming down in. Maybe they've got some kind of issue. Maybe there's a tire going down or caught a piece of debris on the grill. We'll have to catch up with one of those guys later on if we have time and see what kind of the issue was and see what their strategy. Maybe it's part of their strategy. We never know.
And what I'm seeing on the timing and scoring right here. Oh, as contact being made in the rear of the field, drivers going around. Oh my goodness, no caution as it was off the racing service. Now caution coming out. Travis Elliott involved. Let's go back, take a look with our turn 3 replay. Here we see contact right there between Travis Elliott and another driver. Them going through the infield. Oh, KR Stolfus may have been involved as well. Let's take another look at that. There you see the contact. Oh, yeah, right into the side of KR. And then, ooh, hard impact into that inside wall for the 51 of Travis Elliott. That's going to spell some trouble for him here tonight.
That has got to be one of the most scariest things ever. I get a little nervous going down the highway, 60, 70 mile an hour. I can't imagine what these guys are, 200 plus miles an hour, inches away from each other. And then all of a sudden there's a nice bright wall coming right at you. Hard impact. Let's hope he's perfectly okay.
Yeah, he was able to drive off. May unfortunately have to use a fast repair early, as these drivers are allotted the one fast repair, so may have to burn that early, but it is very early to do that. That's why I'm glad I am not the crew chief and I don't make the big rocket science paychecks.
That is absolutely true.
As the driver slow behind the pace truck, looks like we're going to have multiple drivers hit pit road. And what I was going to say just before that caution and contact is it looked like it was mainly Alliance Motorsports that hit pit road just before that caution. So they've got enough fuel to make it all the way to the end of stage number 1. This caution is going to help out your race leader, Hunter Reynolds, your Hall of Fame race leader, Hunter Reynolds. I gotta add that Hall of Fame. You gotta put that asterisk next to it and make sure you say it each and every time. I mean, that's a big deal.
Absolutely. You Dave, you got to give credit where credit is due.
Looking back through the field, looks like we've had a few more drivers hit pit road this time by. Timing and scoring going to reshape itself, resituate itself, so to speak. And I tell you what, let's see if we can't get a word or two with a driver out there on track. Let's see if I can't figure it out, which you know me, it's tough figuring out anything. So let's see if we can't get in a word or two with one of the drivers out there on track. Let's see if we didn't break into some communications here. Hunter Reynolds, it's Dave and Dan in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, my man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Out front.
Oh, well, man, you're leading the race at this point in time. Is the strategy now to try to stretch this fuel to the end of stage 1? Do you think this caution is going to give you enough?
I honestly think it will, yeah. We're going to stay out here, try and stretch it. The fuel's looking to our favor right now. We'll have to keep doing some calculations here.
Well, man, we won't make you spill your strategy too much, but want to get to some big important business, big news, man. Hall of Famer. How's it feel to have that attached to your name here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series?
Oh, that's really cool. I actually didn't know that I was this is the first time hearing about it, so that's awesome.
Well, the cat's out of the bag, my man. Back-to-back defending series champion. Hunter Reynolds, man, Hall of Famer. Man, what more could you want besides go out there and dominate the rest of this race and walk away with a race win, right? I mean, that's just icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has a good ring to it. If we get this win here, we'll be locked into the chase early and get a monkey off our back. But, these are some tough guys here. We got a lot of good drivers, and we're going to try and do our best.
All right, my man. Well, as you cross the line here, I believe you're going to get the one to go, so we won't keep you much longer. I'll let you talk to your teammates and your crew chief. Before we let you go, though, Hunter, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Yeah, shout out to all the family, friends watching, all the league admins. Turn 3, you guys do a great job. All my teammates at FSR, those guys are amazing. Thanks about it. Thanks everyone watching.
All right, very, very to the point is Hunter Reynolds here now that the pace truck lights have went out there. You see him trying to save a little bit of fuel down there on the apron. Man, Dan, only on lap 7 here, very early. These drivers going to have to hit the reset button, pull the belts down tight one more time, and get set to fire back off.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they had enough time with themselves to kind of get settled in the race car and just kind of get into that super speedway groove. So a little bit of the butterflies could come back. So we'll watch this restart. You know, obviously restarts are going to be on the leader when the green flag flies. So we'll see which way this one goes, and see if these guys can get the butterflies shaken off for the second time here after about 7 laps.
They're going to be very interesting. That is for sure. The stage ends always tend to bring some great action to us as well. Going to throw up the ticker up there at the top of your screen for you so you can follow along just as we do with all the drivers out there on track. Hunter Reynolds going to bring the field back to the green flag. Logan Helton going to line up just to his outside. Josh Milam in row number 2 right behind Reynolds. Then Jimmy Crow lining up right behind his protege there. So those two drivers still sticking with each other here on this restart with the pit strategy. Man, oh man, can't wait for that truck to get out the way.
Absolutely. I always love hearing these cars fire off right when that green flag drops. That's one of my favorite parts about these super speedways, is to unleash them horses and let these big boys fly.
That we will, and they will. That is for sure down there. Oh, looks like a little bit of issue there for a minute for Hunter Reynolds. Switching lanes, going to go to the outside now for this restart. So a late switch of the lane. Nonetheless, drivers get set, fire off. Great restart on the inside lane by Logan Helton. He pulls yards. His help, Jimmy Crow, being left behind here. That's not going to spell well for the kid, as on that outside lane, Hunter Reynolds and Josh Milam surging. Now Milam almost clear and can drop down to the bottom. Caution.
Caution flag.
Oh, man, big caution.
You know, Talladega, you really expect the big one to happen a little later, but wow. That looked like it was from about 7th on back there, Dave. What'd you see there?
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and it looks like things going a little bit crazy on us. Oh, big wreck. A lot of cars involved in the system, not liking it there. Glitching all over the place on us. My goodness, so we'll give us just a minute. Do bear with us. We do apologize about it. See if we can't get this fixed up for you. My goodness. A lot of drivers involved in that one, Dan, and man, I don't know what to say about that one. There was a ton of drivers involved.
Wow, yeah, there's definitely going to be some fast repairs bills going up in value here.
As we say that, gonna rejoin the front of the field. Donald Stewart now leading the race after drivers hitting pit road, and ooh, not looking like it's liking what's going on the screen for me still. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break here, deal with some technical issues. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Back trackside here at Talladega Super Speedway for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Got some of the technical bugs worked out. Should be fine from here on out, but we'll deal with them as they come. You know, you can't help the internet sometimes. Sometimes it just does whatever it feels like doing, and it is what it is. Nonetheless, drivers side by side, set to get back. Green flag racing once again. Hunter Reynolds sitting at the top of the speed charts. He's going to lead this field back to green flag racing. Josh Milam going to line up to his outside. The kid right behind Reynolds, and this should be another great restart. Got a few cars doing some issues, but is what it is.
A little strategy change there from Hunter. He chose the inside line this time around, so I wonder if that's got something to do with what he saw on the previous restart there with Helton getting a pretty good jump there on the restart.
And it looks like Trading Paint's having some update issues as well now. Some of the cars go blank. Now they'll pop back in, but nonetheless, field going through turns 1 and 2. Reynolds still at the top. The kid right there pushing on his rear bumper.
Absolutely. They both got a very, very nice restart there.
Oh my, things still not looking good over here on my end. Having some bugs still going on now. Drivers looks like they're beginning to calm down just a little bit more, so we'll stick with it here. Looks like things may be ironing themselves out. Sometimes that's just what it takes. And look at that. We haven't had a chance to speak about them very much here tonight, but another Hall of Fame inductee right there. Third car inside row. Rick Seabrands, that 4 has found a way to the top of the speed chart.
Yes, he has. I don't know how he avoided all that carnage there a few laps ago with that big accident we just had, but there he is, gonna bring up that inside line.
And speaking of that big time crash, looking back through the field, it looks like we have a few drivers that were very, very hurt. David Booth looks like he's still on pit road. Randall Cobb, as well as Dave Hunt, all of those drivers with some issues. And they're actually on track. I do apologize for that. They are just well off pace right now, electing to keep that fast repair in their pocket. And they'll be able to fix on their machines here in just a few more laps, crossing the line that time for lap 14 out of the 94 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Stage number 1 ending at the completion of lap number 20. So just another 7 laps, and these drivers will have to kind of cool off, reset, and get ready to come to pit road to fuel up for stage number 2.
I would imagine by now they're starting to get comfortable with restarts. They're starting to get a little comfortable in the car here. We've got 7 laps to go in stage 1. Hunter Reynolds still in command. Pretty good tight pack racing here, Dave.
That it is, as we continue to deal with these bugs, trying to fix them each and every time they come. But yeah, some great racing action all over the track right now as Logan Helton leads the field back across the stripe that time to begin lap number 15.
Very nice move on him right there to get down off that outside line when he saw he had a little window. So hopefully his spotter's getting paid extra a few dollars here for that nice move he pulled off there.
That he will. Now digging on that outside. Will Weber, look at that help from Josh Milam. Milam pushed Reynolds to the lead just a second ago. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Pushed Hunter Reynolds to the lead a handful of laps ago. Can he do the same thing with that 24 of Will Weber? We'll have to wait and see. Jimmy Crow right there. Third car outside lane, but it looks like the place to be is that inside lane being led by the kid himself, Logan Helton.
Will had a nice run there, Will Weber. He come off that outside line pretty well, but I think coming into the entry of turn number 3, he gets a little loose and makes his momentum fail there. I think fail isn't the really word I wanted to use there, but hey, you know, when you're watching this much action, it's kind of hard to keep on track here.
That it is, and trying not to get too frustrated as we continue to have these bugs out here on track tonight. Drivers a little bit blinky everywhere, all over the place for us. So trying to stick with it to the end of stage number 1. Hopefully it can iron itself out a little bit for us here as we're getting down to the nitty-gritty and not looking like it's going to be able to do it. So unfortunately, folks, we're going to have to step away for just another brief moment. Please, please bear with us and don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
We got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're gonna lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Looks like your car is toast. You'll need to tow back to pit lane, press and hold your reset button, and we'll come and get you.
Back live once again, trackside. Sorry, folks, do apologize about it. Thank each and every one of you sticking with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, trying to work through all of these bugs out here tonight. Stage ending caution coming out just before the end of stage number 1. That's going to put Derek Conley as your stage number 1 winner. We'll try to get in a brief word with Derek here as soon as we possibly can, as the pace truck lights are out in the field, gets ready to go back green flag racing to begin stage number 2.
You know, Dave, it's the first part of the season, so, you know, new cables, new equipment. Just got to work out the bugs a little bit, man. It is Talladega. Anything that can go wrong probably will.
Yeah, that is definitely the feeling for myself right now, but nonetheless, we're going to continue to soldier on, just like a lot of these drivers will continue to soldier on after some brief troubles early in the race. We still got a long way to go, though. Green flag getting ready to fly once again as Conley brings the field to the green flag, hits the restart box. Waiting on the loud pedal, and off we go once again. Will Weber, Logan Helton, great start on that outside row.
Absolutely, good start for those guys. Looks like these top 4 might pull away here, depending on what turn 2 exit and turn 3 entry will be here.
And dropping down from Helton, Weber. Helton goes to the bottom, joins that long train of cars there. You see everybody still grouped together, all within, I would say, about a second or so of each other. We do have a few drivers out there that are pretty hurt, still sitting on the pit road. And oh my, the bugs coming back once again. Man, oh man, I tell you what, I'm going to fire somebody, that's for sure.
Well, they probably deserve it. That was a great move from Logan Helton there to come from that top outside lane. He definitely wants to be on that inside lane. He was a pretty big powerhouse there that first stint of that stage 1, and that's where he definitely wants to be. So good move by him to get down there behind Hunter Reynolds there and just kind of hold his line. I think you might see him ride this out here until the end of this stage if we can get some green flag laps underway.
Yeah, seeing if we can't get some green flag racing under our belt. These drivers able to go for very long stints. Last season, Dan, we did see almost whole races go without a caution, except for the stage ending cautions, as it looks like those bugs finally working themselves out. Once I get caught up on that, kind of won't let it go for a while, so ladies and gentlemen, do bear with me on mentioning those bugs throughout the night. Maybe the Orkin Man got them this time. We'll have to wait and see, but nonetheless, your top 12 still all packed up side by side, working their way through turns 1 and 2.
I think you gave the bugs to me here, Dave.
It's all right. It's all good. We'll get it all worked out. Looks like it's having a little bit of overlay issue seems to be the problem, so we'll keep you abreast of things as best as we can. Still leading this field, Derek Connolly down there on the inside. Will Weber in the 24 still surging on that outside lane, trying to take that top spot away. Not being done just yet. Now the 40 of Anthony English right on that rear bumper of that 24, trying to push him up to the lead, but Derek Connolly, Hunter Reynolds not having any of it. They're going to secure that bottom lane and surge back to the front.
Just want to make mention of how tightly compact this lower lane is right here, Dave. If you watch this outside lane, it just seems like they get a little loose on entry of a corner, and that's kind of scrubbing some speed off for them. If you compare them to the inside line, those guys are nice and tight, equal spacing between the cars. I think that's the big factor here in watching this inside lane get a good run coming off the corners.
That it very well may be as the bugs begin to come back once again. Oh my Lord, I tell you what, very, very frustrating for sure. They seem to iron themselves out, and then they rear their ugly head for about 30, 45 seconds and then dissipate again. So I am just not sure what else to do at this point in time except try to see if I can't figure something out on the fly here. Dan, how's things looking on your end?
Things have kind of cleaned up on my end. I'm getting to relax and watch some nice racing here, Dave, so I appreciate your concern.
Well, looks like things
yours
slowly smoothing out for us, but we'll have to continue to try to work on it, troubleshoot it as we do on the fly here. Still side-by-side racing through the majority of the front of the field.
I really expected the front of this field to kind of get up here and pull away. You know, about the top 8 or 10 cars, but these guys in the latter half of this pack here are hanging with these guys. So getting some green flag laps turned here. Everybody's getting settled in, getting into a nice rhythm for these guys up front, and the guys in the back seem to be following along quite nicely with them as well.
Yes, that they are, Dan. I mean, all the way back to the 19th position, all within 1.1 second of your race leader. So it's still anybody's game at the front of the field. Drivers sitting just outside that top 20. Alex Green, Sean Stevens, Eric Carline, Dustin Barber, Chase Berry, Ernie Williams, Rick Sebrands, Jimmy Reynolds, Robert Duvendak, all drivers as one goes way down the track. My goodness, that could have been a big time moment. And it looks like we will go under caution once again here. That was the 27 of Sean Stevens with an issue. We'll take a look back with our Turn 3 replay. There you see Stevens, breaking loose back up onto the track, and a lot of drivers involved, not just Stevens. And then impact with that inside concrete barrier. We'll back it up, take one more look high above from the blimp camp here. Well, we will if I can ever get it right. Here you go. There it is. Oh, right off the nose. Tried to save it up in front of a few other drivers. The 0-2 of David Overstreet caught up in that one. Oh, Rick Sebrands barely skated by. Oh, my. That was pretty rough right there as we rejoin the front of the field back under caution here early in stage number 2. Your race leader, Will Weber, down there saving gas, running on that inside lane. Well, on the apron, not the inside lane. He's on the apron.
Stevens almost saved that car, Dave. He was so close to saving that car.
Yeah, but you know what they say, man. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Trying to see what the issues are. Still having a few kinks and bugs. Trying to get those all worked out for you still. As we find ourselves under caution once again here at Talladega Super Speedway for the opening race in season number 5 for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Man, it's been an exciting one for sure. It's been a frustrating one at the same time. Great highlights through the race, finding out the first 3 inductees to the Hall of Fame here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Great racing. Got our very own KR Stolfus out there on track. But then we got to deal with these pesky little connection issues and internet bugs with things flashing around on the screen. So while we find ourselves under caution, we'll see if things can't sort themselves out here. We're going to step away one more time, see if we can't get this fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize. We will be right back.
Front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit grass sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside. And Truncate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Oh boy, and it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a little bit of issues with the OBS programming. Each and every time we go live, it begins to give us a little bit of hiccups and things of that nature. So we're gonna have to try to approach this thing a separate way. Bear with us still. My goodness, I do apologize.
It happens.
Mike's hot once again. We are back live. Hey, I'm seeing it on my screen, and I'm seeing hang-ups and stuff. Back live trackside once again here at Talladega Super Speedway. Looks like we may have gotten all the bugs fixed and worked out. Do want to thank some of the guys back over at Turn 3 Racing Network coming in and troubleshooting, getting things back up and running for us. Do appreciate you staying with us. Drivers at the front of the field. James Mayer continues to lead the race as the 40 of Anthony English just behind him. We are closing in to 41 laps remaining. Cody Ober was the driver that stole the win for stage number 2. And oh man, I'm at a loss for words. I do apologize for all the technical issues and things, mishaps here tonight, but nonetheless, we'll give you a great finish to tonight's race. The opening round here in season number 5 for OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Dan, you still with us?
Yes, sir. We're still here. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Mr. Dave.
Well, man, sorry you got to join us for the first time like this, but nonetheless, man, how's the racing action been out there for you to watch on your end?
It's been relatively interesting. We've had a few lead changes over the course of some cautions. Of course, the end of stage 2 there. A great win by him, and then we've had a couple cautions here, and there's some guys up front here that we haven't seen all race long, so definitely a few changes, and I think this is going to get real interesting here, so glad we got our bugs worked out, and we're going to see how this one finishes out.
That we will, and it looks like our top 10, maybe top 12, all right there, doubled up with each other now. Drivers looking to jump to that high lane, maybe get that third lane rolling. Looks like Derek Connolly will lead that charge out there on that third lane. Now going to think better of it. Nope, looking once again to go 3 wide again. We'll have to wait and see if he makes that happen. Drivers just behind them. Daniel Holloway, Rick Greenway, Dustin Barber, Donald Stewart will round out your top 17. Eric Clayton right there in 18th, 19th. David Booth 20th. Sean McCarrick, Jimmy Reynolds with some trouble early, running now in that second pack as the front of the field gets 3 wide for the race lead, heading into turn number 3 for the first time here tonight.
That inside lane still holding strong though, Dave. Just like you said, you know, we're going to see a lot of this where the outside lanes are falling off.
In jockeying for position, getting ready for green flag pit stops is maybe what's going on here. Drivers getting a little bit impatient, maybe wanting to get up and lead a few laps, get a bonus point or 2 before they hit pit road for the last time. Fuel window is right in the 18 to 21 range, depending on how aggressive you want to go on that fuel mileage.
Yeah, we should see guys start coming in here or getting ready to get in position to start coming down to pit lane and maybe take some fresh tires. Definitely a full fuel load, and we're probably going to see at least 1 or 2 more pit stops from a lot of these guys for this race here.
As that 3 wide little skirmish begins to fizzle on out. Looks like we do have one driver duck to pit road. That was Rob Connors going to pit road.
I love the sound that these cars make. Just at 200 miles an hour, it just vibrates everything around us. It's the most amazing thing on the planet right now.
And it's quite amazing to see these 2 very distinct packs here with less than 40 laps remaining in race number 1 here in season number 5 for these OP Racing Super Speedway drivers. Bill James Mayer, after early trouble, we seen that 95 sideways after some contact early in stage number 1. Now up there leading this field. Down there, first car in a side lane has Cody Ober right there on his rear gearbox. Rear gearbox, huh? That's special, ain't it?
I'm trying to figure out where the rear gearbox is on the back of these cars.
Right?
I'm so used to push bar, tail tank.
Well, you know, nobody ever said I was the brightest. Now moving on that outside lane, though, Dan. Cody Ober, Josh Milam powering around. James Mayer gonna now drop down, take that lead away. That's going to leave 3 cars grouped up on that outside lane. Anthony English now leading the charge on the outside. He's got help from Derek Connolly, Randall Cobb, Logan Hilton, all right there. Will Weber, early race leader here, now finds himself just a little bit behind your top 5.
I'm not going to sleep on Anthony English here. I think he is going to be right here, right at the end, ready to pounce after these pit stops. You're not going to see the last of this fire engine red flaming race car, I'm telling you right now. Here he comes on the outside. Let's see what timing scoring gives us here.
And
big run.
What's interesting here too as well, Dan, is that second pack beginning to get single file back there. Maybe some fuel strategy being had by some of these drivers back here. Daniel Holloway, Rick Greenway, Donald Stewart. There you see a very long train of cars back there. Right from around the 14th, 15th position or so, they are all single file. They may be trying to stretch this thing out to try to have a very short pit when they do come to pit road for what could be the one and only time left here in this race.
I find this interesting too. They seem to be catching this lead pack ever so slightly, but they are catching them.
But we've seen it happen last year as well. When these drivers do get organized in single file, they can catch up to the front of the field when the front is running side by side, as they continue to do. Anthony English still leading the charge, leading the front of the field down on that inside lane. Derek Connolly with help from James Mayer. Oh, I do apologize. That is not James Mayer with Derek Connolly. That is actually Hunter Reynolds and Derek Connolly in that middle lane. Third lane beginning to develop on the top side. That is Jimmy Crow and Logan, the Kid Helton once again. They're going to try to take that third lane to the top of the charts. Not happening just yet. Now pulling even with that middle lane. But Anthony English still out in front with help from the 8 of Cody Ober.
These guys on the outside are going to need a little more help, I think.
Yeah, those 2 cars on the outside, Dan, don't look like they have the full head of steam that they need. They make up some ground, but then lose it. And I think the ground that they continue to lose is a little bit more than what they continue to regain. So it looks like that middle lane and that third lane out there on the high side not faring so well, as the 24 of Will Weber drops from that middle lane down to the inside lane. That's going to allow Logan Hilton to drop down the third car outside row, as we've only got 4 cars now trying to battle for the top spot in that middle lane.
We should start seeing some pit stops here pretty soon. I believe we're getting really, really close here.
And while we have a minute here, as these drivers beginning to somewhat calm things down at the front, drivers in that second pack have stayed single file. So as we get to a little bit of a lull through the race, let me go ahead and once again say I appreciate each and every one of you stopping by, all the fans, family, friends, viewers, watchers, everybody coming in here on Turn 3 Racing Network and joining us each and every time that you do. Big shout out to all of you that have stuck it out with us all night long through all of our issues. We do appreciate it more than you would ever know. Big shout out to the big man upstairs, Chris Legue, coming in and saving the day. He's got his Superman cape on, and we'll have to wait to see if Mark Mann, Batman himself, jumping out of the Batmobile out there on track. He's now running the blue paint scheme. Driver out of that Alliance Motorsports stable. We'll have to wait and see how he shakes out here tonight as well. But caution out on the track. It looks like Ernie Williams may have been involved in this one. Possibly Jimmy Reynolds also caught up. Ooh, big, hard impact for that 91. Hard into that outside wall. Bangs it off of the wall a few more times, then collects a few more drivers along the way. So hard impact for Ernie Williams. and that is more than likely going to spell an end to his day. 91 with a tough, hard hit to that outside wall. Hunter Reynolds also being involved in that wicked hard shot there. You see him spinning off of that outside wall down through the apron multiple times around. He's got to be a little bit sick on that one. That's a whew.
Yeah, that's a pretty big banger there. That's a hard shot for him.
And it looks like we have a little bit of trouble out there on track as well right now. Driver stuck down on the apron. Looks like the 40 of Anthony English. Hunter Reynolds, I believe, or maybe that may be Derek Connolly side by side with him. And oh man, not quite sure what happened there as we were watching the replay, but looks like a lot of drivers caught up and stuck now in the middle of this corner. The field begins to make their way back towards pit road. A little bit of extracurricular activities and some shenanigans going on there in the middle of the corner. It looks like some drivers were stuck, caught up in some bad positions there. Nonetheless, field now getting back to pit road, so everything copacetic or as close as it could be. We will get set to fire things off once again when the green flag flies here at Talladega Super Speedway. And hey, even our very own KR Stolfus with some trouble out there on track as well. Had to wait for some cars to come back by. So, yeah, just an all-around kind of crazy, kooky night out there, not just for ourselves here in the production booth, but looks like there's a little bit of troubles and issues out there in the iRacing world as well.
I think it's the full moon, Dave.
You know, it might be. I was actually enjoying a great lake view this weekend over the 4th of July. I do hope each and every one of our viewers enjoyed their great celebration or at least celebrated as much as they were allowed to, so to speak, quote unquote allowed to. But anyways, we won't get into all that. And the moon was absolutely beautiful. Big beautiful moon. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Just tonight, man, it's out there.
That's apparently just one of those nights, you know. I mean, the stuff happens, things break, stuff goes wonky. Just, you know, you can't help technology sometimes, and we just do what we can do and carry on. We'll move on to the next one, and at least we're getting to see some racing. You know, it's like a rain out when you go to a dirt track.
Yeah, we had a little bit of lightning in the area. How about that? We're gonna roll with that one. A little bit of lightning in the area. Yeah. How about that one? As the field back behind the Chevy Silverado pace truck, looks like Derek Connolly will continue to lead the field. He will have Logan Helton lining up just to his outside. Cody Ober and his 8 machine, the Hall of Famer Robert Duvendak, gonna line up in the 4th position. So gonna have a stacked front of the field here when we get back to green flag racing, and the pace truck lights should go out this time by. Absolutely, look at that. We'll get set to go back green flag racing this time by. Dan, you've been able to watch the field a little bit more than I have, as I've been trying to troubleshoot and go through some things here in the background. Has there been any one driver out there that has kind of set themselves apart to you here tonight?
You know, the kid Logan over here, man, I tell you what, he fell back quite a bit due to an early incident, and he has worked his way back up here. That is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. You know, for somebody to come from that far back and be in the top 2 here is just absolutely amazing. Also, the number 8 of Cody Ober here, he fell back to about 14th or 15th. He's worked his way back up to a top 3 here as well. Don't count these guys out. I think they got some stuff left in the tank here, and also Will Weber's still right back in it too. So anything could happen right here. You know, it's restrictor plate racing. This is awesome.
As long as you got a car at the end, you've got a shot at the end. That's always been the moniker when you get to these restrictor plate races here at Talladega or Daytona International Speedway. I like to kind of include Pocono. I think it kind of races like a super speedway myself, but that's a whole different story. We can lobby what tracks are what, this and that and the third. But I would expect some big-time action and some big-time moves here coming up in the next few laps as we are closing in on right about the 25, 26 laps, somewhere in that range. You guys know I can't count, 1, 2, 5, 7. It's all the same to me, but nonetheless, we'll get set this time by Pace Truck. We'll make that left-hand turn. Then the driver's going to bring it down that long wait to the restart, Dan, before they fire things back off to go back green flag racing.
Yeah, some of these dark horses right here are going to be getting impatient here pretty soon. The guys have been riding around. They're going to start wanting to make a move forward here, so we'll just see what happens.
Your race leader, Derek Conley, brings the field back towards the restart box. Flagman's waiting for the gas to be pressed. And I'd say right about now, and green flag back in the air once again as Connolly nails the gas. Great start on the outside by Logan Helton, getting that outside lane, rolling both lanes. Still pretty organized side by side into turn one, heading through the center of one now, looking to exit turn two. Duvendak falling back off of the bumper a little bit from Helton. That's going to hurt that outside lane as they make their way down the backstretch.
Makes me wonder how these drivers are feeling with all these cautions we've had today. I wonder if they're kind of settled into their groove, or if they're still kind of got a little bit of butterflies or something like that. Dave, you ever been in one of these cars before? You ever turned some laps at Talladega Superspeedway?
Yeah, I have had the great pleasure of driving with these OP Racing Superspeedway drivers in some of the dual races, and it's pretty intense. I don't believe there's ever really a moment that you can stay calm, and I don't think we're going to have very many calm moments as we have reached just 26 laps remaining. And the kid, he is never one to give up, never one to shy away from leaning on that gas pedal, leaning on that left rear quarter, side drafting other drivers. So we can look to see the bumps get bigger, the gaps get smaller, and the blocks come a little bit later as we click off each and every lap, getting closer and closer to the end of this first race of the season.
I agree about that blocks. We're probably going to see a lot of Minecraft throwing going on here before long. A couple 10, 12 laps here. It's going to get pretty exciting, guys.
That it is we're not seeing that second pack develop here now. Now since this latest restart, it looks like the field all trying to stay in one major pack. That is almost every single car that is out there on track, all right there in this huge pack, all the way back to about 25th, all lined up side by side as these drivers continue to try to push for the race win. Still a long way to go, though. 25 laps is nothing to shake your head at, especially when it comes to speedway racing.
Absolutely. It's a long way around this speedway. A long way.
Long way when tires are worn, fuel starts to wear out, the tail end starts to get a little bit happier each and every time, and that's something we got to keep in mind. If we don't get a caution here in these closing stages, these drivers are going to have to hit pit road. More than likely, they're going to get gas only, so they're going to have to slow down, not slide through their pit boxes, and then not spin the tires trying to get back up to speed. So look for a green flag pit cycle to maybe really shake up the end of the races. Cody Ober now ducks to that outside, looking to pull the switch. He's got the momentum. He's got the help. Bump coming from Helton, and to the front goes the 80 of Cody Ober. Once again, he was your stage number 2 winner, now dropping to that bottom lane to lead the inside lane. That's going to put Logan Helton once again leading the charge on that outside lane.
He saw that door open up within milliseconds. He had probably about 5 or 6 feet to clear right there, and he just put that right where he wanted to and drove right around the outside of Derek Conley. That was a sweet move by him. Great piece of driving.
And once again, Dan, that's a move that we've seen happen time and time again. Last season, I started calling it the switch because the driver would drop into second. Now we see Jimmy Crow trying to pull that move. He's going to make a big move, force the 24 of Will Weber way up the track, and that is going to slow the entire field down for just a moment. Now breaking away by 1 car length is your top 2 runners, Cody Ober and Derek Connolly. Those 2 drivers continue to lead the race. Now Jimmy Crow trying to make his way up on the outside. The kid, Logan Helton, saying, I think this inside lane may be the safer place to be.
I would tend to agree with him right there. You know, as long as these guys can hold this corner entry and don't get these guys behind them stacked up, that inside line is going to be the runner here. That move that Cody pulled was kind of like Cole Trickle in Days of Thunder. You know, I'm just going to pass him on the outside.
That it was, and it looks like we've got a driver hitting pit road. That last time by, David Overstreet came to pit road. He is in his pits for what should be his final stop of the race. Maybe a little bit too soon, especially not having any drafting help. That is going to spell trouble for the rest of his day. So look for Overstreet to need that pesky, dreaded yellow flag to fly once again to bring him back into contention as the drivers make their way down the backstretch and into turn 3, coming to take just 20 laps to go when we cross the line this time by.
There's still a lot of time here, though. It's a long way to go. These guys are getting kind of settled in for this. This is probably one of the longest green flag runs we've had this whole race. So I don't think the fireworks are over just yet, Dave.
And as we take the 20 lap to go mark right there, it looks like that inside lane starting to get a little bit longer, a little more organized. I think we're going to see some green flag pit stops begin to develop here in the next handful of laps. I would say within the next 3 to 5 laps, we should see drivers hitting pit road. And with that being said, Logan Helton, he jumps back to the outside as the field comes around the 0-2 of Overstreet down there on the apron, allowing the race leaders the free track. Not going to have any issues with a lap car here as they run up on, I believe that is the 40 of Anthony English out there hugging that outside wall, trying to let the leaders go by as we cross the line to take 19 to go here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Coming off of 3 there, that previous lap, Derek Conley was looking for a way to get around Cody Ober, and he didn't have anywhere to go because the kid Logan Helton was right there, man. I'm telling you, Logan is going to possibly win this race.
And with a driver like Jimmy Crow right behind you, I mean, how can you not make your way back to the front of the field? I mean, if we go on board here with Jimmy Crow, you can just see how close he is out of the cockpit of his machine. He is right there on that rear bumper of Logan Helton, continuing to try to push him to the lead. Every now and again falls off just a little bit, but man, there is no space between his nose and Helton's rear.
Absolutely. That's a master and student moment right there. That's nothing like pushing your protege to the front of a race.
And Jimmy Crow doing exactly that, sitting second, far outside row, continuing to push Logan Helton down the back stretch now as they break even with Ober and Conley down on the inside. They're going to give up a little bit of ground through the beginning, through the entry of 3 and 4. Sorry, I do apologize. As drivers, big mass exodus down to pit road. A lot of drivers down on pit road, this time by James Mayer, Rick Seaburns, Robert Duvendak, Travis Elliott, Aspen Belvin, Jeff Wyatt, Mark Mann. Man, there is a ton. Chase Berry, Jimmy Reynolds, all down to pit road that time by, and that's going to leave Cody Ober up at the front of the field. Derek Connolly still pushing him. Will Weber now third car inside lane. Logan Helton still trying to make that outside lane work. Looking back through the timing and scoring, trying to find our good buddy KR, and looks like KR's out there still running on track. Seems to be on pace as more drivers hitting pit road this time by. Looks like about half of the field that stayed out on track came to pit road that time by. Now Logan Helton's gonna reassume the race lead as his mentor just to his outside as Jimmy Crow now takes over the lead of that outside lane. Donald Stewart, Dave Hunt, all right there at the front of the field. And where did he come from? Mr. Les Levy, look at that. All the way up, knocking on the door of the top 5, running in the 6th. Now make it 4th position as these drivers jockey around going down the backstretch. My goodness, it's the witching hour, baby. 15 laps to go when we cross the line this time by. Will these drivers hit pit road, or will they continue to try to stretch it out? Looks like we've got 2 drivers coming to pit road this time by.
Absolutely, as Jimmy Crow goes to the front, right around his student there. Coming off of turn number 3, he'll lead it this time around.
Leading the field this time around, Jimmy Crow, as Les Levy drops down just in front of Logan Hilton to take away that 2nd spot. That's going to leave Dave Hunt in his 53 all alone, solo out there in that outside row, as I believe it's only about our top 7 or 8 yet to hit pit road. Alex Green and KR Stolfus, they're just behind these top 7 drivers, about 13 seconds or so. If we go back and look at this pack being led by Alex Green, he's got KR Stolfus with him, Donald Stewart also back there. So these drivers maybe saving a little bit more fuel, maybe trying to take a little bit less gas when they do hit pit road, because we've got 2 more drivers hitting pit road this time by. And caution once again flies out on the track. Looks like Les Levy may have been involved in this one. David Overstreet also. Trying to get it all queued up.
Yeah, it looked like Randall Cobb just coming in a little hot there on coming into pit road, ready for his pit stop, and just kind of looped it around, I think.
And that was one of the things that we had mentioned, if you remember, trying to get to pit road with these older tires. Got to be very careful, got to time it just right. As we're watching it once again, big carnage and chaos there. A lot of drivers involved in that one. I believe Helton went for a spin with this one, as well as Cobb just not able to get woed up as some of the drivers headed off track to go to pit road. So caution will fly with only, I believe we're only going to have about maybe 10 laps to go when we go back. Green flag racing, so it's going to be a heat race, if you will, when these drivers line back up for this latest restart for what could be the final restart. Do keep in mind we do have 2 attempts at a green-white-checkered here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. So Dan, it's not over with. That's not all she wrote just yet. We could have upwards of maybe 15, 16 laps should we get both sets of green-white checkers.
Absolutely, and anything could happen during those green-white checkers as well. You know, some guy could come from the back. What year was that? 96, 97, when Dale Sr. come from 13th or 14th to win. You know, hey, anything could happen here, guys.
And that kind of hurt some of the driver strategies that were laying back just a little bit more. Alex Green, KR Stolfus, the drivers with that pack, they were laying back just a little bit, saving a little bit more fuel to try to take a little less fuel when they did hit pit road. So that's going to unfortunately throw their strategy and game plan into the trash. But what it will do, it will put them on fresh tires, full of fuel to get to the end, and right there with the race leaders. So they are right back in this thing. And my goodness, with just 10 laps to go, Dan, I mean, it is going to be an all-out shootout.
Yeah, I don't imagine there'll be many fenders left on these cars when we get to 1 to go, especially when we get to 1 to go. They're gonna let it all hang out here, and these guys are gonna show no fear coming to the end of this race.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to show any fear whatsoever coming to the end of the race here, especially not after the way some of the things have went, some of the things have gone. I believe most of these drivers will just continue to hammer down and try to get everything they can and see if they can't put their name in the record books as the winner of race number 1 here in season number 5.
Absolutely. 5 seasons these guys have been doing this. You know, we got 3 Hall of Famers they inducted tonight. We might see a first-time winner. I like first-time winners myself. Who do you got? Dave? Who you been watching for these last, 10 or 12 laps here?
Well, see, that's something I've learned over time here, Dan, is I'm never going to pick a driver because once I do, the broadcaster's curse comes and they will not finish. I can pretty much guarantee you that. I did it 2 or 3 times last year with KR, and then anytime I quietly mentioned it to him in the background, it still didn't go so well for that driver. So, I mean, my pick is you take anybody that's still running, and that's my pick.
Yes, sir. There you go. It is Talladega after all. Anything can happen.
And it looks like producers and things of that nature waving us like we need to pay some bills or something, but I'm going to go ahead and trump that call. We've had enough issues, enough commercials out here tonight. We're going to stay right here trackside on Turn 3 Racing Network. And I tell you what, let's see if we can't get a word or two with a driver that may be out there on track. Looks like I'm getting some pokes and prods and things of that nature, but I tell you what, let's go down. Let's see if we can't get in a word. See if our good buddy has got a few words for us, a little bit of words for encouragement. As, ooh, it looks like the pace car lights are out, so going to have to make this short and sweet. So let's see if we can't dial up KR Stolfus real quick. Pace car lights out, man. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I suppose I do.
All right, man. Well, I know you're not worried about winning this thing or anything, so we got a chance to chat with you just for a brief moment, man. How's the car? How's it feel? How's your chances at walking away with a race win?
Chances are slim to none. Car's damaged. She's beat up. Just trying to survive. Goal here is just finish on the lead lap. I think that would be an achievement.
All right, my man. Well, just wanted to check in with you real quick, see how the race was going for you. But, before we let you go, want to give any shout-outs, anything like that before we get back green flag?
Oh, man, of course. I want to thank the Misfits. This team here has been a big help. Pardon my steering wheel. But the Misfits here, they've been a big help to me. Sean McCarrick, Jeff Wyatt, Andrew Schroeder, and then, of course, you and Dan in the booth. But I guess I shouldn't thank you, Dave, because then it might go to your head.
This is true. This is true. Well, man, we'll let you go. Strap in. Get ready. Elbows up. Good luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
That was driver of the 3 Machine, KR Stolfus, colleague in action out there on track with the OP Racing Super Speedway drivers. Heading back to the green flag. Jimmy Crow and his 18 Machine gonna try to walk away with a race when he will bring the field back to the restart box. Waiting for it, waiting for it. And on the loud pedal, and away we go. 11 laps remain here at Talladega Super Speedway in race number 1, season number 5 for the OP Racing Super Speedway drivers. Jimmy Crow breaks away from the field, has Donald Stewart in tow. Rick Seabrands, where did he come from now? Running third car inside lane. Will he jump out, try to take the lead of the outside lane? Not going to do it just yet. And oh man, things are gonna get dicey here as Duvendak right there on David Booth's bumper, trying to push that 77 to the front of the field through the center of 3 and 4.
Man, I sometimes find myself just in awe, just staring here, watching these guys and how they handle these cars. My arms would be falling off of my desk right now.
Well, it's easy to watch and just get kind of captivated by some of the things that these drivers can do, but don't look now, don't blink. We are 3 wide in that outside lane, starting to develop. Just 2 cars out there right now. 10 laps to go as the drivers make their way down the backstretch. Nobody jumping out of line from that middle lane. They're going to stay all tucked up with each other. David Booth does have a little bit of an advantage, but now Jimmy Crow in that inside lane surging back to the front.
Trying to get a few extra camera angles here to see how well these drivers are handling in the cockpit. I'm gonna ride along with Rick Seabrands here, Hall of Famer, for a little while, and see if we can get a little in-car action for myself. Because I'm cool, Dave, like that. I have all the hookups with all the technology people and everything, you know.
Yeah, great onboard shot there from the floor of Rick Seabrands as he is third car inside lane, trying to push his way to the front of the field, and it is getting to be a little bit of a madhouse at the front of the field. Now 3 cars joining that outside line, 3 wide from about 6th on back, and that third lane starting to develop a little bit more as Duvenbach jumps from behind Booth to lead that third lane. Now 3 wide for third.
We ride scary on a highway. I can't imagine 200 miles an hour.
And it's only going to get a little bit scarier as we were 3 wide for second place there momentarily. Now the outside lane losing a little bit of ground off of turn number 2, but still leading this field, charging on that inside lane, hugging the safe spot on the track, Jimmy Crow, but a big push now by Travis Elliott on the rear of David Booth. Surges that 77 to the front. He drifts up just a little bit. Big time wiggle out of Booth there. That's going to let that inside lane regain the momentum. Side by side drag race through the tri-oval. 3 wide, 4 wide contact.
Whoa.
Big one. A lot of cars involved here. Caution flag flies once again at Talladega Super Speedway. My goodness, 3, 4 wide doesn't end well. Contact and around go a handful of drivers. We'll get the thumbs up for the cue on the replay. Looks like they say they got it. Taking a look back now, trying to see everybody involved in that one. Looks like Hunter Reynolds, Sean McCarrick, Eric Carline, Dave Hunt, Logan Helton, James Mayer, Randall Cobb, a lot of drivers. Sean Stevens involved as well. My goodness, that one caught a good 6 or 7 drivers out.
Yeah, it looked like the 50 car Sean McCarrick there kind of come down off the racetrack. Maybe got a little bit loose. Maybe had a window there he saw that actually wasn't open and got into Derek Connolly. Unfortunately, that just kind of throwed him around there. And, you know, other drivers were a victim of casualty there.
And it looked like the contact made with Logan Helton. Helton was woeing up for what he was seeing in front of him, and unfortunately, drivers behind him not able to woe up fast enough. Contact being made. Oh, tough break for a lot of these drivers very late in the race. And I tell you what, I'm not sure if this is going to be our first attempt at a green-white-checkered, but it is going to be very close to an unofficial green-white-checkered, that's for sure, when we go back. Green flag racing.
I have to give a special shout out here to Chase Berry. He started 36th, Dave. 36th is where he started, and he is in a top 10, currently 7th. That's a good drive by that guy. Great drive for him. That's 29 positions he's made up. 28.
Oh, you know, he just wouldn't fit in if you could count, you know what I mean? Like,
right. See, I mean, KR said that, so I mean.
And I mean, there's a few drivers out there, Dan, that have got some big gains out there. I mean, Travis Elliott, look at him, 31 positions being gained. Aspen Belvin, also 31 positions. I'm not sure how that plays out. They can't start in the same spot, but somehow, some way, looks like my timing scoring may be a little bit off. But Belvin, I mean, those are some big movers. They came from the rear of the field, the absolute rear of the field here tonight. And now they find themselves, one's inside the top 5 and one sits just outside of the top 5 in the 6th position.
That just goes to show you that during a restrictor plate race at a big super speedway like this, anything is possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I said it a few times throughout the night. As long as you've got a car at the end and you've got 4 fenders on it, still got a chance to push that thing into victory lane. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do because you end up destroying it, and there's no other way to get it to victory lane besides push it, but I'm okay with that. Field under caution behind the Chevy Silverado pace truck. David Booth and that 77 will lead the field back to the green flag once we get the 1 to go. Drivers will begin to double file once again. I tell you what, with that all being said, we're going to step away for a little bit of a side-by-side commercial break so you won't miss any of the racing action. We do appreciate each and every one of you sticking with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network throughout the entire night. So with that being said, we're going to not let you miss any of the action, and we're going to break away for just a brief commercial break. We will be right back. Trackside once again here at Talladega Super Speedway. 4 laps remaining as the field begins to get double filed and work their way off of turn number 4. Pace car, or pace truck I should say, gonna get out of the way, and we will get set to fire things off for, well, what I believe is going to be our first unofficial attempt at a green-white-checkered. 3 laps gonna be remaining when the drivers cross the line. David Booth gonna lead the field to the green flag. Jimmy Crow gonna line up just to his outside. Travis Elliott, Robert Duvendak right there. And oh man, I tell you what, it's anybody's game at this point in time. Waiting to hit the gas, waiting to hit the gas. And away we go once again. Big time wheel spin out of Jimmy Crow, almost into the side of Booth. That's gonna slow Booth down just a little bit, side by side. For your race lead down into turn number 1. Now the inside lane beginning to prevail just a little bit. Outside lane now falling back. Duvendak, big wiggle through the center, trying to get back to the bumper of Jimmy Crow. Third lane developing now as well.
Travis Elliott's got a nice spot to be right there behind David Booth. That's where he wants to be if he wants to win this thing. He's just going to have to hope that outside lane stays a little further behind him, and he can probably make a run to the outside here with this next turn or two here. I imagine you're going to see that pretty soon.
Your top 12 drivers breaking away from the rest of the field. 1 second separates first through 14th. So your top 14 all battling it out. Aspen Belvin, big push on Duvendak, gets him loose. 2 laps remaining as the field works their way back into turn number 1. David Booth doing a great job in that 77 machine, keeping it at the front of the field. My goodness, big pushes down the back stretch now. My goodness, I don't know whose game it's gonna be as Travis Elliott, man, he's got a big push. Caution on the track, cars going around.
Chase Berry got a little loose there. Tried to save it, sent him right into the outside wall.
And we can, I don't want to say you can expect these kind of things, but at the end of these races, the pushes get a little bit harder, a little bit longer, and sometimes these drivers get a little bit out of shape, and it's hard for them to save them on these big banked corners. Tough break for Chase Berry after a great race, working his way up through the field inside the top 5, then disaster striking very late. That's going to put a damper on the day for him and his crew, so tough luck out there for Chase Berry and his crew. Man, that is, Dan, that has gotta hurt, man, right there. That is a hard lick. And not just that, it's got to be almost a hit to the pride, being so close to the end of the race, so close to being at the front of the field, and now you've seen it all go away. And man, I don't know if there's anything you could say to Chase Berry to make him feel any better about what has just taken place.
You know, I'm sure if you asked him right about now, he'd have probably rather just crashed out on lap 1 than have that happen. That's a heartbreaker for him. He had worked his way up through the whole field and kept his nose clean the whole race, and that's just a tough break to see something like that happen right at the end of this race.
Absolutely. That 5 goes from inside the top 5 all the way back to the 26th position on pit road now. So tough break for Barry and his crew, but I mean, we kind of luck up. We got another shootout here now as we're going to have our first attempt at a green-white-checkered here to see and determine who's going to win. I mean, it's going to be, man, it's going to be a championship fight. Some knockout blows are going to go down. I can assure you that. I don't think we've seen the last of a car backwards just yet.
I tell you what, Dave, if you don't like this, you can pack up now, go home, clear the parking lot out for the rest of us, because this is awesome.
Yeah, this is some great racing action being displayed, and if I don't know, maybe the drivers kind of sensed some of the issues we were having here up in the production booth and saved some of the great racing action for this. Once we got everything worked out and figured out all the bugs fixed. Once again, shout out to each and every one of you viewers, family, fans, friends, for sticking with us, staying here with Turn 3 Racing Network as we work through everything here to bring you the OP Racing Super Speedway Series season number 5 opener at Talladega. And man, it has been an absolute barn burner, and we're going to have ourselves an all-star shootout, basically. I mean, it's going to be the OK Corral coming to the checkered flag, and that's if we get it too. I mean, Dan, we've got one more attempt at a green-white-checkered should we need it.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow. Yeah, OK Corral's a perfect analogy there, Dave. That's I just wonder who the Doc Holliday is going to be, you know? Who's going to get the Huckleberry here?
Well, if anybody's out there willing to take the chance, I mean, put my finger on a few of the drivers. As I said, I'm not going to call them out because of that dreaded broadcaster's curse, but I mean, we have got some big names up inside your top 10 out there. We've got Hall of Famers up inside that top 10. Robert Duvendak, Rick Seabrands, both of those drivers inside the top 10. Both of those drivers being elected to the first class of the OP Racing Super Speedway Series Hall of Fame. So, I mean, there's 2 names right there that could go after it. David
Absolutely.
Booth, that's 77. I mean, he's took some flack from our colleague in action, running that 77 number, and he's got it right there with a chance to go to victory lane. I mean, Travis Elliott also very hungry driver. The 78, Donald Stewart, he's yet to go to victory lane. He could do so here tonight, going to be lining up second row outside lane. So, I mean, right there knocking on the door of the top spot. Look for drivers to make some big moves here on this restart.
Yeah, Travis Elliott could not have pulled that move off any later than what he did, because that caution was out straight away after he pulled that move and took the lead. Maybe he's got a little beer fuel in that thing. You know, the WeMac car's looking pretty stout there up front.
And I mean, a lot of the teams being represented well at the front. We've got some Alliance Motorsports drivers at the front. Fuel Sim Racing has some drivers right there at the front as well. I mean, it is just a heavyweight championship battle right now being had, and I mean, we're going into the rounds where it's you gotta swing for the knockout blow, so to speak.
Absolutely. I heard there was a little smack talk running around between Fuel Sim and Alliance Motorsports there earlier pre-race. I don't know where that came from, but we were told to keep an eye on those two teams there. So, and here they are, right at the end here, getting into the final round, and we're gonna see these guys swing for the fences. I'm pretty sure, don't you think, Dave?
Oh, I think so, and I think Vape It Yeet Racing, they're out there to prove their name as well. They've got two drivers right now sitting inside that top six. Travis Elliott, Aspen Belvin, both of those drivers poised and ready to try to walk away with a race win. So early in the season, maybe some of these teams willing to push the envelope a little bit more and try to walk away with a race win, steal the win away from one of those more dominant, bigger name teams. But it's not over with by any means. Field, side-by-side pace truck back on the pit road. Field making the long journey back to the restart box. We'll get set to go back. Green flag racing for the first attempt at a green-white-checkered. Elliott on the outside leading the field to green. He hits the loud pedal and away we go. Inside lane, not getting as good of a start as they may have needed. Booth dropping back, almost letting Elliott clear and drop to the bottom. Oh, big move to the bottom goes Stewart. Stewart drops to the bottom, now trying to take the race lead out of turn number 2. Gonna be able to do it.
Wow, what a move by Donald Stewart there. That was, wow. Oh no, big one.
Oh my goodness, the big one late. Donald Stewart goes around, Will Weber goes around, Josh Milam. Ooh, David Booth also involved in this one. A lot of drivers caught up in this latest one. Jimmy Crow, also one of those drivers involved. Sean McCarrick. My goodness, a lot of drivers involved in this one. Ooh-wee, and hard impact for that 77 of David Booth. No front clip on the front of his car now after that hard impact. Hate to see that happen. Driver right there at the front of the field trying to get a race win, and fortunately not going to come to fruition for him here tonight. And we'll back it up just a little bit and let you take a look, see what happened. Looked like maybe just a bump gone wrong. That's what it was. Jimmy Crow ping-ponging in the middle after some contact, catching a few drivers out with him as well. We'll look at it one more time here. Yeah, and it looks like just a mistimed bump got some drivers out of shape, and it was all she wrote from there. No space in between those drivers as we were in the closing stages of tonight's race. So we'll re-rack them, reset, and get ready to go for what will be our final restart of the race.
I'm taking a third look at this here, and it looked like the 78 of Donald Stewart maybe got a little loose on the backstretch there, got a little below the apron, maybe lost his footing and kind of slowed everybody up there on that inside line, and unfortunately everybody else was just a casualty at that point.
A lot of casualties involved in that one. A lot of casualties involved in the last few here at Talladega Superspeedway. Field will catch back up to that Chevy Silverado pace truck. Travis Elliott will bring the field back to the stripe this time by. We'll reset, re-rack, get ready to go once again. Oh man, our top 5 has completely changed again.
Who are these people and where did they come from?
Well, they came from the rear. Logan Hilton had some issues, and now he finds himself right back inside the top 5. So the kid still out there trying to do what he did last year, and that's win a handful of races. Going to try to begin that journey and that quest very early here in season number 5. Daniel Holloway, Robert Duvendak, Donald Stewart, Travis Elliott, all of those drivers going to line up in front of them, all hungry to make it to victory lane.
Seen a couple cars go below the apron here. I wonder if fuel's going to be a little bit of an issue here for some of these guys.
And that's something we hadn't really discussed here. I mean, the fuel window is 18 to 21 laps. Most of these drivers came to pit road with about 18 or so laps to go. So the fuel is running low for some of these drivers, and some of them may just stumble a little bit here on this restart. Something we're going to have to keep our eye on, not just the tire spin, as these drivers didn't get tires last time they were on pit road. They just filled the cars full of fuel. So with the tires being worn, the tires being hot, now cooling off a little bit, gotta watch the wheel spin, gotta be ready to white knuckle it if you need to. And I think most of them are gonna have to.
Absolutely. You know, the track temperature's gone down. Since race start, it's gone down approximately 25 degrees. So, you know, race car is going to handle a little bit differently. We'll see what these guys can do to handle these machines on this final green-white checker here.
Yeah, and you would think most of the time with the track temp cooling off that there'd be a little bit more grip out there, but it seems like with the race coming to an end that the pushes are getting so big that even that extra grip is still not enough for these drivers to keep it straight. The rear end starting to wiggle and walk around on them a little bit, and faster strikes once again. We'll just have to wait and see as the pace truck lights go out. Final attempt at a green-white checkered here in the opening round of season number 5 for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series.
Yeah, you touched a minute ago on you know, the pushes being a little longer. I've just kind of noticed that, you know, these guys aren't lifting and giving as much room as earlier. That's going to upset the race car, you know, for the guy in front of you, and that, you know, that can kind of upset the driver in front, you know, that's in front of you a little bit. Is that part of the mental game strategy, Dave?
I'm not sure it's part of the strategy. I just think it's part of the game. I mean, you get down to the closing laps, and I mean, you're trying to win a race here. It doesn't matter if you're in second, third, fifth. You're trying to make your way to the front. You're trying to get yourself a race win. So you're going to push a little harder. Maybe not necessarily to get a driver out of shape, but to maybe catapult him forward. So maybe you can pull out a line and get the run on that next lane up. We've seen it happen with the switch. The driver's second car inside row will push the leader out in front and then jump to that outside lane and make the drop back down in front of the race leader. So
sure, yeah,
I just think it's part of it here at the end.
We're going to keep an eye. I'm going to keep an eye on that, because that's, you know, being a guy in front, you know, especially Travis Elliott here on this inside lane, he's going to have to watch that tire spin. He's, you know, you got to have your head on a swivel here at all times, because, you know, I mean, you get loose and it's over for you, you know, especially if somebody's right behind you. Get that air off that rear spoiler, and next thing you know, you're done.
Absolutely agree with all of that. I mean, you got to be mirror driving, but at the same time, I mean, you just do away with everything else. Water temperature doesn't matter at this point. It's just all out. It's all or nothing. Hate to use the phrase, if you're not first, you're last, but that's kind of the mentality you got to have coming to this last green-white checkered start. Travis Elliott, the 51, brings the field back to the restart box. Waiting for it. Nailing the gas, and away we go. Oh, Helton misses a shift and blows up. Logan Helton dropping like a rock now, trying to get out of the way of the field. Field all makes their way around him. Big trouble for Helton on the last restart. My goodness. Your top three now, top four, all single file working their way down the backstretch. Four-car now make it a three-car breakaway at the front. Elliott, Duvendak, and Stewart making their way through the center of 3 and 4. Not looking like Mark Mann's going to have any help to catch up. Field coming to the line. Popsicle sticks in the air. White flag being grabbed. 1 to go. Here at Talladega Super Speedway Series, we've got ourselves a 3-car battle for the race lead. Duvendak right behind Elliott.
Stewart is looking for his window right now. He is back there behind Duvendak, and he wants to go. I don't think he's going to have the run.
He's going to have to wait for the run from Duvendak. Wait and see what Duvendak does here. Looking a little bit now to the outside. Not going to make the jump. Looks like Duvendak's he's letting go of Elliott to try to get a run here. Try to get a push. Long way back to the start-finish line. Travis Elliott leading the field through the tri-oval. 3 wide. Stewart gets loose. Duvendak pushing. Close battle. Photo finish at the end. Who got it? Looks like they're going to give the race win to Robert Duvendak. Big move. Great timing out there by Robert Duvendak to come across the line. I believe as the race winner, but we'll wait and see what the timing and scoring and officials say here before we put that one in the book. But it looks like possibly Robert Duvendak with the best move I've seen in a long time, falling back and then using the run through the tri-oval to come and snatch that race win away. Oh my, photo finish. I think, is there anything you could describe it with better than a photo finish? 0.01 seconds between Robert Duvendak and Travis Elliott, and timing and scoring is giving the race win to Robert Duvendak. Golly, that was close.
Wow. I wonder how far 0.01 seconds is at 200 plus miles an hour. Half a tire, a lug nut.
I'm sure it's about an eyelash.
I'll go with that.
As Robert Duvendak burns it down there by the start-finish line, celebrating his race win. We're going to step away for a brief commercial break, get everything ready for your post-race interviews here on Turn 3 Racing Network. We do appreciate you staying with us all race long. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Backtrack side after a brief commercial break. We've had a moment to catch up with your podium finishing drivers out there. Gonna see if we can't catch a quick word with the driver walking away in third place out there tonight. That 78 of Donald Stewart, man. How you doing? You got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, Dave, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Looks like you tried to get the run with the 10 there in the tri-oval, and the rear end got a little bit loose. Walk us through that last lap.
Man, what a save. Actually, I was pulling out because I thought Doobie was going to stay right on Travis on the low. So I said, it's time to pull out. And when I pulled out, Doobie pulled out, and he just barely got to the front of my car. And that kind of got me squirrely, got me loose. And then I had to dirt track it to the finish line.
Well, man, that was a heck of a job. Some wheelman skills being displayed there, keeping that car on the racetrack. One heck of a save, as you said. How was the race out there for you tonight? I know it's the first time some of the drivers been on track with each other. Do you think that contributed to some of the chaos that may have happened?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, this is the first race of the season. Everybody got little jitters, you know, and they're all anxious, ready to go. And then top it off with some of the new guys that haven't really raced around the veterans. So you kind of got that combination going on there. So I think that had a little bit to do with it, but I believe the coming weeks is going to get a lot better.
Well, man, I do want to congratulate you once again on a great finish, walking away in third here tonight. Before we let you go, though, Donald, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give a shout-out to you guys. You guys do an awesome job, man. I love watching the broadcasts after these races. They're awesome to watch. And congratulations to Doobie and Travis up there for 1 and 2. Heck of a race. And give a shout-out to Donald Stewart Motorsports for sponsoring me this season. And also a shout out to Checkered Flag Motorsports. You know, a couple of them guys in there I was working with tonight, and I appreciate their help.
All right, my man. Well, once again, congratulations, and we'll catch up with you next week at Daytona.
Yeah, 10-4. Oh, can't forget about all the admins for OP. They do an outstanding job, and I really appreciate it.
All right, well, there you have it. Some few final words from the driver finishing in the third position. Donald Stewart took his 78 and put it on the podium. I believe, Dan, you've had some time to catch up with the driver finishing in second.
Absolutely. Travis Elliott, driver of the 51 WeMac car. You got your ears on, buddy.
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How was the race tonight? How are you feeling after that wild finish we had there?
Oh, man. Tonight started out really rough. I was cause of the caution on like lap 6, and you never want to be the cause of the caution at first caution of the season either. But we kept the car clean for the rest of the race, missed all the wrecks, got on and off pit road really clean with the team. And I'm gutted that I lost by 5/1000ths of a second at the line, but you really can't be too mad about it. You know, it was just good, clean racing there at the end, and just had a lot of fun racing to the end there.
Absolutely. You look great out there. So you, at the beginning of the race, what's the secret to keeping your nose clean? You said you got in some trouble early, so, you know, you made some changes with your team, obviously. What's the secret to keeping your nose clean through a long race like this?
A lot of it's luck, and wherever you position yourself in the field. After that first wreck, I tried to start making my way up towards the front, and just got lucky. Had all the wrecks happen behind me, or nowhere near me. So just about that. I'm just happy that I was able to bring this Sun King WeMac car home P2 here for race 1.
Absolutely, man. You had a great drive. You started 31st, went up 29 positions, man. Congratulations. Good drive for you, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Daytona.
Yeah, look forward to it too, guys.
All right, well, there you have it. Some few final words from the driver finishing in that second position. And now we will get a chance to talk to the man of the hour, the Hall of Famer himself, walking away with race win number 1. Doobie, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do. How you doing tonight?
I'm not as good as yourself, man. You get to celebrate, get all the champagne. I think they took all of our snack cakes away from us when we had our bugs and issues. But, man, what a race for you. What a finish. Walk us through that last lap.
Yeah, well, I knew we had a lot of damaged cars up there at the end. I want to say like the 3 or 4 cars behind me were all pretty damaged. So I had a feeling that the 3 of us there were going to get a runaway from the pack and get to settle it out there with ourselves. I just on the last lap there, I just wanted to lay back a little bit, knowing that I could get Donald to give me a little push and get a run on Travis. I wasn't anticipating Stewart to jump out behind me as soon as he did, so I knew I had to make a move at that instant. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had a shot at getting around Travis.
Well, man, it was a great timed move, not just to get the run, but to keep Stewart behind you and gave you just enough to cross the line ahead of Elliott. Man, that was one of the closest finish I think I've seen here in OP Racing. I mean, you guys were, I don't know, I would say 5 or 6 inches away from the result being a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a lot of respect for Travis. And when we were coming to the line there, my very first win in OP for the Cup Series, I made the mistake of door slamming a guy coming to the line and ended up wrecking us both. And we crossed the line, I won, but I wasn't too proud of it to win that way. So I knew coming to the line here, with the respect I have for Travis, I just wanted to race him clean coming to the line. I didn't want to hit him or anything. So as we were coming to the line, I kind of swung it out a little bit wider to give us a little more space. And I guess that was just enough to give me the run, just an inch in front of him.
Well, man, that you did. You walked away with the race win, man. Congratulations once again, walking away with a win early in the season. That sets you up to sit a little bit prettier throughout the rest of the year, to let you breathe a little easier. So as a strategy now, go for the race wins or go for as many stage points?
Well, my focus now is going to shift towards obviously getting more wins. But my main concern here is getting the other 4 Alliance guys locked in. So even though I got to win and I would like to go win more, my main concern here is to try to get one of the other 4 win. And then once we can lock all 5 of us into the chase, then all 5 of us can go out there and do everything possible to race for every win.
Well, once again, man, congratulations on the race win. Before we let you go and finish celebrating tonight, would you like to give any special thanks, shout-outs, love yous, I do's, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming on with us this season, allowing KR to come out here and race with us, and you taking the helm here, putting on the show for us. Thank everyone at Alliance, Jim, Rick, Anthony, and Mark for, working together all race there. And I want to thank my wife who lets me do this, every Monday. She takes over here at the house, takes care of all of our kids while I get to come out here to the garage and do some racing.
All right, my man. Well, we'll look forward to catching up with you next week at Daytona International Speedway.
Thanks a lot. You guys have a great night.
All right, there you have it. Some few final words from your race winner, Robert Duvendak. And with all that being said, Dan, man, it has been one heck of a night, one heck of a show. Any last thoughts before we get to the official race results?
Through all the trials and tribulations of this evening with internet gremlins and things like that, we still ended up with one heck of a race tonight. Thank you to all the drivers for participating in this, and families and friends and everybody on the interwebs watching us here. Just I'm looking forward to next week, Dave. This was just absolutely awesome. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all, and we'll try to make sure all the problems are fixed next week when we head to Daytona International Speedway. So with all that being said, just the official race results left to be run through. So we'll go ahead, give that to you now. Walking away with the race win on the top spot, the 10 of Robert Duvendak, followed by the 51 of Travis Elliott. Donald Stewart going to walk away in third. Cody Ober in fourth. Mark Mann rounding out your top 5. Dustin Barber, the rookie, coming in 6th place here tonight. Dave Hunt gonna walk away in 7th. Josh Milam in 8th. 9th, Derek Connolly. 10th, Hunter Reynolds.
11th coming in with Aspen Belvin, followed by Sean McCarrick-Strong in the 12th position. 13th, Anthony English. The 52 of Randall Cobb in the 14th position. The 22 of Eric Carlion in 15th. I believe I pronounced that wrong earlier. My apologies. 16th position, Alex Green. 17th position, the 95 of James Meyer. 18th, the 4 of Rick Seabrans, the Hall of Famer. 19th, 47 of Andrew Schroeder. 20th position, the 77 of David Booth.
Walking away in the 21st position, Les Levy. 22nd, Jimmy Crow. Jeff Wyatt going to round out your top 23. I don't know why I said round out your top 23. That's an oddball way to say that one. But anyways, 24th position, Daniel Holloway. Logan Helton, after blowing up on the final green-white-checkered, going to be relegated to the 25th. Finishing spot 26 will be Rick Greenway. 27th, Jamie Jessup. 28th, Jimmy Reynolds. 29th, Will Weber. And Ben Mashburn going to walk away in 30th.
In 31st, the number 3 of KR Stolfus, our colleague in competition. 32nd is Chase Berry. 33rd, David Overstreet. 34th, Sean Stevens, the rookie. 35 of Rob Connors. 36th of Ernie Williams. 37 of Rodney Cobb.
And just like that, that's going to be your final race results here, your unofficial race results here at Talladega Superspeedways for the opener at DEGA for the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. And with all that being said, do want to give a big shout out to everybody that stuck with us through all the troubles, trials, and tribulations here tonight. We appreciate you coming out each and every time you do. And until then, my friends, stay safe, stay loved. We'll catch up with you next week at Daytona. Well, that's it. We'll see you.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.